Thanks for joining me. So happy that you're here today. I think I'm like a minute or so early because I was doing something, getting it set up, and I accidentally hit the go live button. So hopefully you can hear me and you're all there. So let's go see if I can find the video so that I can see your chat. Okay, and let's go here. We gotta get that chat going. For some reason, it doesn't want to open the panel again. Let's go back and try it one more time. There we go. There we go. All right. Okay. So we'll wait just a minute. Okay, there we go. All right. Hello, Tracy. Well, hello, Margot Van Diver from California. I'm so happy to see you here. Thanks for joining. I think this must be your first time. Hello, Laura. I'm so glad to see everybody here. We have it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, as most of you will know, for October. So I created a treat box that I wanted to share with you today. But before we get into that, I'm going to go over the quick join offers for the month of October. For $35 here in the United States, you can choose up to $125 worth of products. You cannot go even one penny over that 125 bucks. Free shipping, become a demo. You don't have to do what I do. You can just be a happy discount shopper, okay? And I pinned the link in the comments. And then your other choice is for $99. You can choose up to $189 worth of products. Stampin' Up! Does not pick those for you. You pick yourself, and you can do the new November online exclusives that are out right now for pre-order to demos only and will be available to the public in October. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. This treat box is heavily loaded with technique. Okay, so we're going to start with our first technique, and we're going to bring in a piece of basic white cardstock. But before we do that, I'm going to show you the Love and Courage stamp set that we will be using. This is Stampin' Up's 2025 Making a Difference product. And what that means is that for every stamp set sold of this Love and Courage, Stampin' Up! Will donate $3 of the purchase price to breast cancer organizations. And they've picked out a specific one and they told us what it is. But can I remember? No. Maybe Tracy can. I don't. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start with a piece of basic white. This is a quarter sheet of basic white. Because I'm going to be using the banner die from the party banners. This is what it looks like. The set, you get 20 dies in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 14 banner dies. We are using the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th from the largest banner for this. And so I needed my piece to be a little bit bigger than my banner. Um, and I could have cut it closer, but I didn't want to because I want to be able to cut my banner and move it where I want it to go. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We need some blending brushes. I've got two. I've got some Melon Mambo ink and some Pretty in Pink ink. We're going to start with Pretty in Pink. I'm going to bring in my blending brush, and I'm just going to swirl on some color here. This is not highly technical, and it does not matter how you get this. You get some spottiness, all the better for this particular technique. Okay, you don't have to cover the whole thing. That looks good to me. We'll go back. We're going to go back and forth. I don't like this little spot up here though. Totally white. Okay, so now we're going to move to Melon Mambo. And that's okay, Tracy. I can't remember either, so it's all right. I should have written it down and kept it somewhere. So now I'm just going to put in some Melon Mambo ink. Okay, doesn't have to be perfect. We're just putting some on. Okay, now because I can't stand the mess, I'm going to clean this up. We're not done, and I'll make more messes as we go, but that's okay. I'm just going to wipe this up with my Glass Mat Studio chamois. Now, we're going to bring in a tool, a very inexpensive tool. I've got some saran wrap here. I've got a glass dish from my kitchen. I've put a piece of paper towel in here, and I've wet that down. It's good and wet. It's not soaking. It is soaking wet, but it's not so much that it will drip everywhere. And then I'm just going to bring in a towel, then take my saran wrap, and I'm going to dab this on. Okay. I'll let that dry for just a minute. And because we're live and I really don't have time to, sit and wait, I'm going to take my heat tool on setting 1. I love the Stampin' Up! Heat tool because it has that drying setting. And I'm just going to give that a quick dry. I don't need it to be completely dry, but dry enough. Okay, so it's not wet to the touch. And I'm going to go back with a little bit more of my Melon Mambo ink. And I'm just going to, I didn't put any more on, just wiping that over the top. Okay. All right. Now we've got that. Now I'm going to take that saran wrap again. And I'm going to dab again. Okay. All right. Now, look at that. I've got a spot there that's pretty wet. I'm going to let that run a little bit. This is regular basic white cardstock, so you don't want to saturate it. Okay. So you're really just dabbing. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll dry again. Hi, Cynthia. Thanks for joining. Okay. I'm going to flip that over. Helps keep the paper from warping so much. Okay. And now we're going to go back. I'm going to take a little bit of the Pretty in Pink ink. And I'm going to go back over this. And this is just going to give me some different depths in my color. especially when I'm going over the spots that I wet. Okay, and one more time. I'm going to change my saran wrap around a little bit. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to set this aside and let it dry. Okay, we'll come back to that. All right, now let's go ahead and stamp our main focal image, and that is this image from the Love and Courage stamp set. This is actually the only stamp we're using tonight. So we're going to grab another piece of basic white. Okay, and I'm going to ink this up in Pretty in Pink. Okay, and then I'm going to take my Melon Mambo. I'm going to take a sponge dopper. And I'm going to ink up my words. Okay, and then I'm also going to go in and ink up the center of that sunflower. Okay. And I'm not trying to get this perfect. It would be great if I have different depths of color in there. So then I'm just going to take and stamp that down. And this is what we call a distinctive stamp. So it's going to have variation in color naturally with the stamp. Okay. So there is our stamp. Okay. Rather than being a single Pretty in Pink color like the outside of these sunflowers, now we have different depths of color in our words and the center of our flower. Okay, so we're now done with our ink pads, I think. And we're going to cut this out. And then, so we're going to take our Stylish Shapes dies, and I'm using the largest of the circles. And I'm going to put this on here. And I'm going to tape that down so it doesn't move. And I could probably get this on my mini, but because my cardstock is a quarter sheet, it won't fit. So I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And I'm going to throw that on the plate there. And I'm going to run that through. Okay. Now we're not done with this machine, but we're done with it for the moment. So I'm going to set it aside. We are done with that plate. No, we're not actually. Well, yeah, maybe we are. Okay, so there is our focal image now. All right, so we've got that. Now let's go ahead and see how our sheet is here. I'm going to go ahead and finish drying this. It's mostly dry. Actually, let's go ahead and let that finish drying, and we'll make our box. So we're going to bring in a piece of Melon Mambo cardstock, and this is 5 1/4 by 7 inches. And we're going to bring in the Simply Scored tool. I'm going to start on the 5 1/4 inch side. And we're going to score at 1 inch from each end. We're going to rotate 180 and score again. And then we're going to put it on the 7 inch side. And we're going to score at 3 inches, rotate, and score at 3 inches. And what that does is that if I didn't cut this perfect, it won't matter because my dimensions are the same from each end, no matter what. Okay, so let's go ahead and fold and burnish. This is one of the easiest boxes there is to make. It's a open top box. Okay, so then we're going to take our snips, our scissors here, and we'll cut up on the large rectangle and then angle cut off the score line. Cut up on the large rectangle. We're only going to this first horizontal score, and then we'll angle cut. Now rotate that 180 degrees. Again, cut up on the large rectangle, cut out the score, cut up on the large rectangle, and cut out the score. Okay, so we've got those. Now, let's take some tear-in tape. You could use liquid glue or Stampin' Seal Plus. I don't like Stampin' Seal Plus. I don't have good luck with it. But some people don't have any trouble. Apparently it's user error on my part, but I prefer my tear-in tape, especially on a live, because I don't have to sit and hold the box together and wait for liquid glue to dry. Okay, so I'm putting 2 pieces of tape on each of this is the inside of my box. That's important, the inside of my box. And then I'm going to put 2 strips on each of these tabs next to it. And I'm going to leave this end blank. No adhesive on that end. So we're just going to add this. And this. And there we go. Okay. Now I see where I didn't quite cut off my score properly here. So I'm going to straighten that up so it looks nice when I put my box together. I'm going to burnish my tear-in tape. And then I'm going to remove the wax paper backings. And I'm going to do that on all my pieces at once. You can just do these center pieces first and then do your longer side pieces last, if that works better for you. Okay, so I like to sandwich these tabs so that they don't get caught on the goodies I'm putting inside. That's why we put the tape on the inside here. So we're going to take and bring up this left side. Make sure that we have it inside the score line and lift up on that tab and secure it. And then we're going to repeat that on the other side. I like to keep it flat on the table. And there we have that one done. Okay, so now all we need to do for this one is lift up the side. I want to make sure that I'm inside the score line here. And then I want to line up the tops of my box. The bottom will follow. Okay? But that way you know the top of your box edges line up. So line those up. And the bottom will follow. Okay? Whoops. And then we're just going to take our bone folder and give that a good burnish so that that adheres well to the cardstock. Okay. And now we have smooth inside, so nothing will get caught on our treats. All right. So this is the base of our box. Then I took out of Melon Mambo cardstock. This is all out of the same 8.5 by 11-inch sheet of paper. I cut my 5 1/4 by 7-inch piece first, and then from what was left, I cut 2 of this banner. Okay. And I said this was the seventh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, seventh largest banner. Okay, so now let's put this together. I'm going to take my Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue, and I'm going to put the glue on the box. Now you can start with the box front or the box back. Whoops, don't get it on the side though. Okay. And then I like to take and flip my cardstock upside down and then place my gluey side down to the banner piece. I designed this box to have just a little bit of a lip on each side, and that makes it easy for me to line that up. And because I'm using liquid glue, then if I didn't get it perfect on the bottom, I have time to push that down and make those line up. Okay, then I'm going to give that a nice press. And again, I'm going to flip this upside down. Put my glue on the box. And then I'm going to turn this upside down, line it up. And whoa, it moved on me. Liquid glue though, so we're okay. I'm going to add a little more liquid glue though, so it'll slide a little bit more. Okay, so let's just lay that down there like that and push that a little bit this way. Okay, and there we go. And again, I'm going to give that a press. Okay, now I can see that this is the back of my box, what I call the back of my box, because I can see where the seam lines up there. So this is going to be the front of my box. We're going to put this up here for the moment. We're going to take a look at this piece. Now this is ready for us. Got a little bit of liquid glue on my finger. And now I can decide what I want for my pattern. And this is what I want, I think. Yep, I'm going to do it just like this and run it through. So now that I know what I want, I'm going to take and just tape that down. We'll bring back in the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And we'll cut this out. Put that in. I'm going to put it at a little bit of an angle. That will help it go through the machine a little easier. Okay. Ooh, you guys, I moved my camera. Sorry about that. Whoop. The machine ran right into the camera stand. I hope that still looks okay. Oops. I guess we're okay. Okay. Okay, so now we've got this piece. And this is actually going to be the front. And now we're finished with that, so we can set that aside. But we're still not done with the Stampin' Cut and Emboss. We can save these pieces to use on something later if we so choose. Now we've got a piece of two-tone Melon Mambo cardstock. And I'm going to lay this on here and decide. I want the darker side, okay? So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to eyeball this. And put that, I should have cut that off a bit. This is a 1.5 inch piece and it's actually by 4. You really only need about 3.5, just shy under 3.5. I'm going to put that there. Make sure that's nice and even on that side. Give that a press. I need to move that down a bit. It's going to be too high, I think. I think that'll be too high. Okay. All right, there we go. And we'll trim that off, even with our scissors. And now we're going to grab our Sunflower 3D embossing folder. Guys, this is on low inventory yet again. It's been a very popular item. When you put your cardstock in this, you want the Stampin' Up! Logo towards you. And then you're going to pick which part of the design you want. I want this design right up here. I'm putting it right up in the corner. Okay, and then I'm going to put it through my machine like this. So I'm going to use plate 1, plate 4, this specialty plate, 4 3D embossing folders. And I'm going to run that spine first through the embossing machine. The reason that we do this spine first is so that the air flows out through the bottom and doesn't crack the spine of your embossing folder. Okay, we're now done with the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And when you pull this out, this is the piece that we have. And I'm using the banners with the points up. All right, let's see. Okay, so just checking the comments there real quick. Okay, now remember, this is two-tone cardstock. I want to add just a little bit more dimension, so I'm going to take a standard little nail file, and it has a white core. So I'm just going to give that a little bit of a sand. You're not going to see most of it because I'm going to cover it up, but it will give it just a little bit of dimension. Okay, so now we've got that. And we're going to bring back in our support piece here. And to this, we're going to add some of the white 1/4 inch ribbon. This is item number 165562, and it is on the last chance list on sale for $7.25. I didn't have any Melon Mambo ribbon because we don't carry any. And I didn't have any Pretty in Pink. And so I'm going to use this white. So I'm just going to make like a little Cancer thing, right? And I'm going to put this on here. Now, I'm really, really challenged with this stuff. So I had to devise a way to make this easier on myself. So I'm going to cut that off the bolt. And I should have got I've got this exactly how I want it. I should have had my tear and tape ready, but I didn't. So I'm just going to grab a piece of tear and tape. I'm holding that down where I want it. I'm going to lay it on the table. And I'm going to secure that with tear and tape, because that's not going to go anywhere. It's going to look exactly like I want it, and it's not going to go anywhere. And then I'm just going to put this up here and over there. Okay? These pieces are not going anywhere. That was the easiest way I could think to do this. Then I'm going to take some Stampin' Dimensionals, because you've got to have dimension. And it's a 3D item, so I don't have to worry about mailing it. Doesn't matter how thick I get it. Okay, so now I've got those dimensionals on. I can bring this in, put this down on my treat box front, center it up. All right, and then I can trim these little ribbons. So they don't go down past the bottom of my box. All right, we're almost done here. Let's go ahead and I'm going to add the gems. And I'm using the Strawberry Slush and Pretty in Pink gems. And I know I'm not using Strawberry Slush ink on this, but I thought the Strawberry Slush looked the best. So I'm going to take the Strawberry Slush and I'm going to put one up here. That's a large one. And then let's grab another large one and put over here. And then we'll take one of the small ones and put right there. Okay, now I want those to stay, so I'm going to take the end of my Take Your Pick tool and give those a good press so they don't come off. And then we're going to add this to our box, and our box will be finished. So this is a 3D embossing folder. So I'm going to add liquid glue. Get in all those nooks and crannies so this piece doesn't fall off. And it might look like I'm putting a ton of glue on there, but I'm really not. And then I'm just going to lay this down on here. Line those corners up. Line these corners up. Give those press. Make sure everything is even. Okay. It's liquid glue, so if I don't have it perfect, I can slide it a bit. And then I'll turn this in, give it a good press from the inside. And there's our box. Ah, I'm glad you love those colors, Laura. I thought that was a perfect little box. Now this box, the finished box is, what is the finished box? What did I make this? Let me look. Let me look at my things. I threw that piece away. That wasn't good. This is 3.5. This actually, the inside box is 3.25. 1 inch deep and 3 inches tall. Excuse me. So 3.25, 3 inches tall, and 1 inch deep. So you could put a gift card in here. You could probably roll a pair of thin socks up in there. Put all kinds of treats and things. It'll definitely fit all your fun size candy bars that are out right now for Halloween. Lots of Hershey's Kisses. I don't actually have anything in either one of my boxes, but I did love the box. So there you have it. That is my share for tonight. I hope you like the technique. And I'll show you a sneak peek of another box that's coming for the holidays. You ready? Here it is. It's the same size box. I just used some different products. This is the Label Me Grateful dies, and this is the Traditions of Christmas stamp set and paper. All right. Thanks, Margot. I'm glad you liked that. I'll bet you could put a cookie in that box. I should go get one of my Costco cookies, put it in a plastic baggie and see if it fits. What a great idea, Tracy. Too bad I didn't think of that ahead of time. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much. If you liked what you saw and you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications so you know every time I upload a video, because I always upload my Tuesday night 7 p.m. live videos on YouTube on Wednesday mornings, and then I'm live here on Thursday nights at 7. So be sure to hit that notification bell. Give me a thumbs up if you liked what you saw. I appreciate that so much. And I will see you all on Tuesday on Facebook at 7, or I'll see you back here next Thursday at 7. Thanks, everybody. Goodbye.